Bonjour ma classe. Okay, I am still on page 49. We're still talking about adjectives. So from the last lesson, you learned that in general, to make an adjective that you would use to talk about something masculine turning it into feminine, you add an E at the end. It does not change the pronunciation if that word already ends in a vowel before you added that E, but it does change the pronunciation if you add that E and the word originally ends in a consonant, like grand becoming grande and fort becoming fort. So, moving on. I'm actually skipping down here to where it says number 1. And there is a chart there where it says singular, plural, and masculine and feminine twice. The reason it does that, so here's singular, here's plural, here's masculine, here's feminine. But we also need that on the plural side as well. And the reason for that is because in French, things change based on whether there's one or more than one, or whether what you're talking about is masculine or feminine. So remember way back in chapter 1 when I said you have to memorize articles of things or you'll be screwed the rest of the semester? It's because it makes a difference whether it's masculine or feminine as you're talking about those things. But now we're on adjectives. So we're going to take a word like sociable. It's actually a really simple one. For sociable, it's the same in the singular column for both masculine and feminine. And for plural, you do what you normally do in English anyway, and you just tack an S at the end. That's a simple one. You just have to remember that it does that. But most adjectives in French change as you go across the board. So let's take poli, for example. P-O-L-I. It means polite. Poli. In the singular masculine column, it's just poli. That's what we call the regular form of it. But now I'm still only talking about one person, but now I'm talking about a girl. So what do you think you do to make it feminine? Remember the prettiest letter in the French language is E, so we're going to tack an E at the end. Now it already ends in a vowel, so putting this E at the end does not change the pronunciation. Now, we need to make poli, masculine, and plural. This is actually a simple one. We're going to do what we do in English anyway, and we're just going to tack an S on at the end to make it plural. So this S makes plural, E makes feminine. So, using your brains, if you know that E makes feminine, and you know that S makes plural, we're going to use the original form here, poli. What do I need to add to the end to make it both feminine and plural? Take a second to think about it. Write it down. If you guessed ES, you are correct. I had to make it feminine and I had to make it plural. I make things feminine by adding E. I make things plural by adding S. So I make them feminine and plural by adding ES. Okay? So let's do one more. Let's skip down to the bottom of the chart. This word is mauvais. Répétez, mauvais. It means bad. It means bad. So, mauvais, singular masculine. This is the regular form of my adjective. Now I want to make it feminine. Write down what you think the spelling would be. Sorry to squeeze it in there. We added E onto it. Now, the regular form ends in a consonant. So adding this E beside this consonant means I'm going to pronounce it now. So over here is mauvais, but when I add an E, it becomes mauvaise. Mauvais, mauvaise. Singular, masculine, mauvais. Singular, feminine, mauvaise. Now, I want to make it plural. This is a bit of a trick question here. So mauvais plural is the same as mauvais singular. Try to ask yourself why. Here's the answer. It is because it already ends in an S in its regular form. If something already ends in S or X in its regular form, you cannot make it more plural, if that makes any sense. So adding another S wouldn't change the pronunciation, it wouldn't change the way it works in the sentence, it just wouldn't be useful. The same for X. So if something already ends in S or X in the regular form, you do not add another one in the plural form at the end. Okay? But now we have a dilemma. So now I want to make this word plural and feminine. So here's the regular word, its regular form, mauvais. But now I have to make it feminine. How do I make it feminine? The same way I always do, by adding an E. But now I need to make it plural. I am going to add an S here. The reason is because since I added an E, now I can make the word plural. Over here I could not make it any more plural than it already was because it ended in S. But here in the feminine plural column, since I've added an E, I have to add the S or else they'll be thinking that I'm talking about something singular. So, regular form. When you add an E, if it ends in a consonant, it changes the pronunciation, mauvais to mauvaise. Plural form. If the regular form already ends in S or X, you cannot make it more plural. But when you go to make it feminine and you have to add the E to make it feminine, then you must add the S to make it plural as well. So, this is a lot to take in. Watch this video a few times, try to wrap your mind around it, and remember you can email me if you have any questions at all. Have a good one, guys.